Once I rose above the noise and confusion just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high. Though my eyes could see, I still was a blind man. Though my mind could think, I still was a madman. I hear the voices when I'm dreaming. I almost said singing. I could hear them say. And if you know the next line, if you know the chorus of that song, then drum roll, please. You're pretty cool. Thanks for checking in with me today. I wanted to go over last week's options premium that we collected, that we put into our Velcro My Little Pony wallet, stuffed that into our skinny jeans, and said, see you next week. So let's start right at it. But before I do, I'll just share the sad news that you already know, but my beloved Packers, who did outplay the 49ers for 55 minutes of that 60-minute game, my beloved Packers did fall. They fell, but they do have the youngest team in the NFL. We do have a brand new, beautiful quarterback, wonderful young receivers, a great head coach. So I'm looking forward to next season. And in the meantime, guess what? I'm actually going to be rooting for the Detroit Lions. Can you believe it? You can't root for someone in the conference, in the same division. Well, I can, because those lovable losers, the Lions, they've never even been to a Super Bowl, let alone win one. So I'm going to be rooting them on as the underdog to take the crown this year. Enough of that talk. Let's get into last week's trade, plural, and we'll talk about it. Would I do those again? Do I think those were good trades? AT&T on Tuesday. So market was closed on Monday. Tuesday sold 10 calls, covered calls, $17 strike, collected $230, bought 1,000 shares of GDX, which is a gold mining ETF. So 2881 hindsight's 2020, but I'm nearly going blind. Currently GDX trading at 2769, so get a wow on that one. Tesla 232.50 call. That's just fine because Tesla's way down in its whiskey. Closed Friday at 212.19. So very nice there. 1550 puts, 20 contracts on Palantir, which will close this coming Friday. And I think those are going to be doing just fine. Palantir had a bit of a struggle most of the week and then rallied nicely on Friday. So collected 319. PBR, that's an energy company. You know how I like that oil, that Earl, because their demise is greatly over exaggerated. The rumors of their death have been a bit exaggerated. Wouldn't you agree? PayPal, that one looks like a brilliant trade because I did 10 contracts at $55, expiring February 2nd, collected 520, and PayPal closed Friday at 65.82, but it is a volatile stock, so you never do know. Never know. And essentially still has 2 weeks to go before expiration. So on Tuesday, we collected $1,994 bills. Tuesday, we had the VIX. That is an inverse VIX. 5 call contracts at $10.50, collected $115. 10 put contracts on ExxonMobil at $97. Thought that was just going to be like a safe money grab, $540, but we did get assigned those on Friday because ExxonMobil closed at $96.95. So I actually feel very nice about that because essentially I got those at a discount, right? So if you take the 97,000, if you take the 97,000 that I spent on those, subtract the 540 measly dollars I collected, that's 96,460 divided by the 1,000 shares. So I got them at 96.46 and they're trading at 96.95. So that's called a discount, all right? That's a discount double check. EOG, same scenario there. EOG Resources put on a trade that I thought was going to be just a simple money grab, but it got it was under pressure basically from then on, but did close Friday at 110.17. So I was not assigned the 1,000 shares of EOG Resources, collected $670 for doing so, And total on Wednesday was 1325. Nothing went on Wednesday. No, was that Thursday? Thursday, except I did buy 1,000 shares of Alcoa. Alcoa can't wait. 26.70 was the price, and they closed on Friday at 27.36. And I did have enough patience to wait until Friday morning to sell calls. So I sold the 27.50s, 10 contracts expiring this Friday at 5.70. I went ahead, so it had gone up Friday morning, and then it like seesawed back down. And when it went down, I sold 10 put contracts at $25 for 200. I bought another round of shares, added, I didn't add to, this was a fresh position. GDXJ, that is a Gold Miners Juniors, the juniors, so they're a smaller cap gold miners, bought 1,000 shares at 33.68. And what is GDXJ at 33.89? So we got a couple dollar bills on the table for me there. Palantir, we rolled our calls, 1650 calls for 620. USO, we rolled the USO 68s out another week for 920. UCO, which is a 2 times bull of USO, rolled that another week for 440. ACLS, I was going to let it expire at full profit and then wait for earnings, which I believe are February 7th. And I'm like, beep, boop, boop. I did the math and I said, these types of companies are very violent. They're very volatile. So I'm just going to collect the dough. And they're only a month. They're monthlies. So those annoy me just a bit. I do appreciate weeklies just because I feel like I have more control over them. So I did book $312 on ACLS that expires on February 16th. Unity, I sold 3350 calls at 10 contracts for this Friday, $820 collected there. Then I did buy some Celsius. Did buy Celsius for 1,000 shares at 51.98. So I collected, or I didn't collect anything because I haven't sold any covered calls yet. But I did wait patiently, and it is just over $52 now, and I look for that to go up a bit more tomorrow once the bell rings, once the bell tolls and the market is open. So we did collect $3,882 on Friday for a weekly total of $7,201. So a pretty good week of premium collecting. The portfolio, though, just has been downtown to Chinatown since the beginning of the year, and that's fine because I still, the way they went down, as you know, is because the companies that I do own shares of, they have lost value. However, I still have the same number of shares. So when they go up, my portfolio will go up as well. So we are trying to collect cash flow and dividends. So let's look at where are we at on January as a total, because you know my new goal is 350,000 for 2024, and that would be premiums, dividends, and interest collected. So let's see where we stand so far in January just on premium. So 7201 for last week, plus the week before we had 8796, plus the first week of the year we collected 3995. Whoa, we're at 19,992. Got to do that math more often. Makes me feel a little better from the collapse of my portfolio. So $19,992 collected so far in premium in a January. And what is there? 8 trading days remaining. And speaking of those trading days, I was doing a little bit of, I don't know if you do trade actively, I would highly recommend you keep a trade journal. I'm a big journaling fan in general. In fact, I've been journaling essentially every day since summer of 2014. It was like the summer of 2014. Oh, yeah. Because that was a big year for me. Why? Why was that such a big year? Do you really want to talk about that? Probably not. But I'll say it anyway. It was the year I quit chewing tobacco after 29 years of stuffing a little skull between the cheek and gum. 29 years. Started in junior high and quit in 2014. So I went cold turkey and have not had one setback, not even one. I do still dream about it. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Excuse me if I put in a chaw. So congratulate me on that. Oh, 2014 was also the year I got my braces off. If you had braces as an adult, then you know that was a very powerful day for you. That's why I have literally not missed a single day wearing my plastics at night. Not one day. I got 2 sets, one that's in our vacation travel bag, the other at home. Have not missed one single day. Pat on the back. Very proud of myself there. So what were you talking about? Oh yeah, Trade Journal. So let's go to just a little musing I had this morning, just looking ahead on what some of the options premium could possibly be. I'm sitting on a bunch of ExxonMobil, as you know, so looking at just doing some math on ExxonMobil. I'll tell you exactly how I came up with it. Let's go to the board. Yes. So let's put in the ExxonMobil. What do we have? 3,000 shares. Now, again, this is not exact science when you're doing it on a Sunday, because as soon as the market opens, it all changes. So if we look at, there's our 3,000 shares, right? And we are at 98.51 as far as average cost. So let's keep that in mind. Click through ExxonMobil options trades, go to the sell button. It's already on call. So sell call. I was looking 12 days out. So a week from Friday, 12 days. And I was looking at the 100. So the 100 FAR covers our $98 and change that we have on the board for our cost. 76 cents. Wait a minute. Where did you get that math? Let me go back to that. 750. That is not accurate at all. Was I just counting? I must have just been counting 1,000 shares. So that actually is going to get very much better right about now. So let's go back to the options chain. So if we do collect 76 cents on the $100, right? We got a 78 COP. What do you mean COP? Is that one of your new goofy terms? It is. 78 COP is chance of profit, COP equals COP. So if we go through here and we put in 30 contracts, that would be 2279. I don't know if I need that much. What do you mean you don't need that much? Isn't this about money? Okay, so it'll be determined essentially by the tea leaves on Monday morning regarding the outlook on oil. I'd be fine selling the 100 because I'm covered as far as a little bit of share appreciation and then a bunch of premium. But I don't want to be locked out of the next dividend, which is it's only about 3 weeks away. So we might trade that more conservative somewhere up here at the 102 at an 86 COP. What's the delta on that? 16 delta. And then you'd be at about $1,000 on that number. In fact, let's just put it in conservative, the $1,000. And then we'll just see what the actual is next week's update. So if we add these up, so ExxonMobil, Tesla, we already have 1 call contract on the board. We got 3 sitting on the sidelines that I will have to be a bit conservative on because I'm way down in my whiskey on what I paid compared to what Tesla is at currently. But it is earnings week, so volatility will be a bit higher than normal. So I'll sell it at covering me on the upside and collect a conservative $500. And this is actually based on just a 5-day trade. So it would expire this Friday. SoFi, this big number would be through earnings. Okay, so if we go to SoFi, I don't need to own SoFi. In fact, I don't need to own any of these. I'm going to try to play it as neutral as I can in 2024 with these companies that, again, any and all of them that I'm trading, I would not mind owning. I think that has to be an important part of the consideration when trading options. So SoFi, I really like the idea. Just across the board, I love the idea of no brick and mortar. So you think about all the Chase Bank locations and how much real estate taxes, how much upkeep, maintenance, the employees that are inside to run this thing, the snow plowing that goes on in the winter, et cetera, and et cetera. And SoFi has none of that. They have no actual branches, which wouldn't work with like the baby boomer community. but it certainly works with millennials and future generations as well. What I don't like about SoFi is loaning people money. What do you mean? Isn't that what banks do? Yeah, but SoFi they have a large and growing inventory of personal loans. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to really pay attention to the next earnings call, but I do believe there's some upside there. But I'm fine if they get called away. So I do have 6,000 shares at a cost of 801. Current price is 757. So my plan or my hope is Monday, Tuesday they're having some green action. But if they don't, and just says it stays flat at the current 757, if I trade into earnings, where's my little notes at? SoFi has 129 earnings. Does that sound about right? So if we look to trade it to then an expiration of the second, you see the implied volatility is very high. So if we went with an $8, right, and we've got 60 contracts to trade because we have 6,000 shares, 60 contracts, 28.21. So I went down to a conservative 2,500 in my little journal here. So there's our SoFi 2,500. Celsius, I told you I bought 1,000 shares of that, but I have not sold covered calls yet. And that was a short trade as well because volatility is so high on Celsius right now that it would be a Friday expiration this coming Friday. 120 and the 6, $800 there. USO, our plan is to roll. That's a conservative 500. UCO, same thing here. Plan to roll it, conservative 300. Target is coming up on expiration, and I'm looking to roll it up and out to collect another dollar, maybe two of appreciation, because the current call that is expiring is at 138, and it's currently in the money by maybe 80 cents or so. So that won't be difficult to manage unless Target gets away from us this week. Devon has got to start paying me some rent. It's been sitting around doing nothing but going down. So it's going to have to be very conservative. But I was looking at covered calls at like a 90% chance of profit, like an 11 delta, and just collecting $250 because we need to be around for the next dividend on Devon Energy as well, which should be when. Let's take a look because they like to pay me those special dividends as well. That's how I originally got into Devon Energy, was it had really high rankings here on Seeking Alpha, and they like to give shareholders the money, the do-re-mi. So let's take a look at the next dividend. It's probably what? Is it going to be, is it mid-March? Is it that far away? Let's go to dividend history because they still have the last ex-dividend date up. Dividend history. So if you looked at last year, so middle of March, they had their special and regular dividend. So they do like to actually set them up on the same ex-dividend days. So the year before was March 11th, March 14th. So we'll be planning mid-March, and I'm hoping because they have lowered their special dividend lately, so it all basically is determined by the rules in which the board sorry, I'm distracting myself. So the board basically decided we're going to give away 50% of our net cash flow back to our shareholders. So the last round was a total of 77 cents per share, but it's been as high as, look at some of these down here. In 2022, on September 9th, they had a $1.37 plus 18-cent regular. So that's what, 155, $1.55 a share on something that trades in the 40s and 50s. Pretty nice. So we definitely need to at least capture the next dividend. I'm hoping to roll around and mess around and get a triple double on Devon all year, so I get back into the profit and I don't have to use them as a tax loss at the end of the year. Because right now I am way down in my whiskey on Devon because they just continue to fall. And because all the singular, so look, I'm down $20,265 on Devon with an average price of $49.80, which a year ago would look like, oh my God, you stole it. Well, right now it looks like they've fleeced me. So there's our thought on Devon. They need to start paying me something. And then GDX, we do have how many shares of GDX? Do we have 3,000 or 4 these days? So GDX, I'm very bullish on. That is a gold mining ETF. 28.89 is my average price, which is, as you can see, over $1 a share more than what it's currently trading at. But it does have a decent amount of volatility. So we have 4,000 shares. If we went to sell call on GDX, and it's going to go up tomorrow morning. You always say that. Well, you got to be optimistic. 12 days. If we wanted to cover ourselves at 29, so that would be, above what we've paid. So we'd get a little bit of share appreciation if it did rise above it, which it will eventually. Get those called away. 25 cents per 40 contracts. There's $1,000 right there. So that's where we came up with that number on the GDX. And then we also have the juniors. We got 1,000 share of the juniors, and it's currently at projected at $490 worth of premium on a 12-day trade. So let's just look at these numbers and see what the projection is. There's $1,000 from ExxonMobil, $500 from Tezzy, $2,500 from SoFi, $800 from Celsius, USO 500. We've got 300 from UCO. We got 500 together between Target and Devon, and then 1490 between the gold miners. 75.90. Hello, 75.90 projected. So we'll have to revisit that. This is projected. We'll revisit that next week when we share our results along with the following week's projections. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. I really do. We're becoming best friends in stocks, options, and dividends. I want you to share this with a lovable friend, another person that we need to bond with, that we need to discuss options and dividends with, and all the fun that we have together. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you. I'll probably see you tomorrow. See you in the next video.